All his life he's been depressed, always been down. He's a very emotional boy.
A hollow nest echoes through my sorrow's crest, the vestibule of tomorrow's edge, the nether pool of a calming death, the residues of a starry depth, sadness, the exotic matter in an endless loop, an assaulting pattern of aberrant tunes, dissolved in blathers beneath the wretched moon as Apollo gathers above his arrow's plume. Dead tree withers, fingers empty firmaments, a whisper speaks of visions to shift inertia's turbulence. I drift further into the brink of impermanence, the blink of an arc herder shepherds worlds then circumvents.
Hover down the steps, cross-legged and depressed, summon in the creature from the fiery abyss, chanting in the fire barbers flicker in the wind as we forge to the light that water deep into that, flicking off the head so the puppets to the night, modern in the torso to demand the ego death, see the not whimpers that the spirit shits from lips, all who seek will find me in the bomb.
Serpent that ensorcels the infinite Ouroboros, the cryptic syzygies of tomorrow, the pendulous influence of immortals. I sit in existence in a bardo into hurdles I am set upon. Take a breath and evanesce, then renaissance with a lexicon of Metatron. A vortex swirls within its center, a world of formless ether, the unfurling birth of uncertain treasure, evolving obscure under lunar pressure. What is consistent for you is not what I wish to delude in this intrinsic circle I loop of infinite measure.
Bathing in the flames of the tetragrammaton, sigils of the garden gets faded to the dark. Trinity and man big candle fall apart, one by one into singularity. Matter became hollow once the temperature was cut, faster than the seems reality is wrought. All was born to be seated on the earth, a cycle to feed one, all to leave none.
It's merely a trick, just some magic is all.
He convinced the dead are in a different dimension. They are dwelling beyond our reach. You must learn to accept it.
Watching everybody weather, putting levels with the others as I watch you take a weather, pushing buttons, spotting people blowing ashes out the window, people guarding in humanity's forgotten floating temple beyond the road, in the reach we hover above with all. Focusing our energy to keep the man spinning, using gravity to hold it together for the colony to flourish, making moves to keep it level and balanced. Shepherds of birds, fingers to turn, the globe is space, needing the many to find themselves with testing faith, pointing with symbols to the form of synchronicities, wanting to seize for the roots to bask in shade, wanting to the growth, transplant the most beautiful branch, enhance, advance the plan to terraform it and always warp to shine forth, be the warm swarm of life to explore your inner core. We occupy what they see, thoughts the words we speak, voice from your sleep that leads you out deep in being. The silence after scream, the secret image you keep, holding your head up and whispering your path. No, don't fade away. Go and grow to cast your shade.
The inverted spire silence sits the modular mind, omnidirectional, causal perceptual construction, confluxes of amnion aqueducts, tachyon, cloaca, phantom ether, miasma, unshackled mist from a void, poison, flower, forest, vacua, microphasic data map, energy, matter, fast and latched in an unimaginable pattern clash, invasive verbal surgery, power plant in an hourglass, unplanned critical mass overload, NASA crash, aftermath, mass labyrinth, cats babbling math, and acid relapse, bad when no man abstinent has, off dozing in a haphazardous trance, unfolding lotus of 1,000 fractals crowning from the astral traveler's hands. The galaxy spans, a barathary glance, the fragments damn in the fathoms of man in a passage vanish through a hippocampic expanse. But I, undamaged, fly through sun's canvas, sublime as the fires that once famished. It rise from my cuss, man, as the light that erupts now thrives below as above the hell kite in the dust mantle and flies. Ionic flux like an angel of Daemonite, bloodlines rush like floodlights, nine with 101 eyes, a numb die clutch, blind and erupt through Mundai. I am the third son of the sun's rise, the blurred monk with inert minds, the first hum with the first tribes of earth, rebirth to reverse time.
We heard it at a restaurant in Copenhagen. It was the first time I met you, remember? So long ago. Nearly 13 years. The waiter insisted on presenting us with a bottle of Dutch gin. I was a real man then. A doctor, building a reputation, yes. And you beautiful, penniless young thing, without a care in the world.
Out of sack made of 16 years of growing pains, cataclysmic designs adorn static plains. Fortified wombs keep hell beneath our reach, falling in love with phantoms, seeking the truth of the words they preach. Chiseling a precipice from a mound of carcasses, collecting spirits trapped between the veil's rotten stapled lips. The words we speak into a life we breathe, unweave the tangled realities, play yourself and stretch your wings. Gripping a moment that slipped to my mind, drenching the body with acid wash, keeping the haunted locked inside, embrace your ghost and fade to loss. Feed me your god so I can taste the fruit he ate, spit out the rind and pit, chew with his flesh until I digest their faith. Evolve into a flesh and boil the body, introduce it to self, peel off the plastic shit in the past. The road you speak is a similar hell, a vial filled with serpent's nectar used to cast an empty spell, reanimated by flames and the worms spitting up my soul and pelt. You're buried again under blood and skin, God. You rinsed off the gold. Your father left you wandering amazed, son. In the dark, every corner's home. Checked your king with the first move. Your pawns discovered they all had crowns, grinding down the hail of the horse a second before the trumpet sound. Muted by oath, eyes closed to keep a secret. They pick apart a demon until you find what you have in common. No
Feed your mind to the precipice, serpents entwined in the exodus.
Leaking a mind to emptiness, filling the void with epithets.
Spilling the wine of the heavenless, devils arrive with a pestilence.
Walking towards the outer limits, don't hold your breath when you make that jump.
Feed your mind to the precipice, serpents entwined in the exodus.
Leaking a mind to emptiness, filling the void with epithets.
Spilling the wine of the heavenless, devils arrive with a pestilence.
Walking towards the outer limits, don't hold your breath when you make that jump.
A king in Xanthus tatters, surrounded by a hypnagogic crown and a hierophantom shrouded, a neuromancer. Psionically voices sound, anointed by Tarmogoyev's cloud. Every corpse destroyed, a source of my fortifying smile. Burial blade, an area gray of tempered decay, an ether of hate weathers away. Precious metal, the embers are faint. The revenant's temple of the perished awaits. A chemical haze envelops its malevolent gaze. The vessel that nestles in its gelid embrace threshes the essence from the flesh that creates the faint haunt of an obscure hymn. A face warped with a world shape, a world's waist raised by an immortal with Durga's limbs, and a golden cloak and a mask of Nihilith. In the quiet, the Obirith motion silence. All are frozen in a flash of cold. What unfolds is the dystopic abode of Araya, a ghost of no throne. He rests on a bed of angels strewn. Above his head a sable moan. After death no savior looms, only the vacant chamber of this vagrant's tomb. A phantom in lamplight with vorpal eyes. His robes as light as his immortal stride. Afloat as Ouroboros spirals above his orbit sight. An eyeless stare, a stare of death despair. On the edge of Nair, the vestige of breathless air. His endlessness in the desert snare. The lair of that with no complexion, surrounded by distortion. At the riddled with tsunami wasted architecture. Penance will be paid by the essence in your veins, lest you wish to bathe in the wave of perdition's flame. Watch the sky erupt, a dark eclipse with 3 suns. Watch the fire rush. I die again to be respun into the wheel of time, woven to a house divine. He who once pronounced him blind then comes alive with 1,000 eyes, unblinking, unwavering, unabated, inundated by darkness sinking. It is not if, it is when. With my tendrils outstretched, the firmament is cleft, and I descend, a righteous jinn, to blight the sins and ride into pious men. My choir hymns, hear my angels amongst the violent wind of my wings. I am the hell kite, silent on the fringe. My ire sings for the wicked they cannot take until it is forgiven. For my love is not wasted, it is gifted. I am the hell kite, silent on the fringe. My ire sings for the wicked they cannot take until it is forgiven. For my love is not wasted, it is gifted. It is gifted.
The melancholy attitude, the fog that creeps across the bay. I foster up the gratitude, I muster up the strength to carry on. My legs, they carry me through altitudes. Higher days, desire phases made to break the mazes as the evening moves. Tied to drinking tea with family meditation. Bring the education, bring the peaceful respiration. Breathing in the solitude. Even when I'm not alone, I find a place inside the center of my head to make this space a centrifuge. spinning, yet I'm winning with the sitting still and taking looks inside my soul like sitting bull. I'm raging war against invaders, major of the many moon cycles. Michael Myers with the death and rebirth and walking to my feet, her putting meat hooks and mean looks over the queens and the fools. The kingdom is my dominion when I'm in it. My body, my logical time is double-fisted. Miming the magic dimension, the mountain with metaphysical and mental encounters. Sit down and observe mental measurements of nouns and verbs. Sit to listen and learn. The mouth is often in the way of the words.
My clothes stays quiet in the morning. Raise a cup of silence to prepare my day. Focused in on the plan engraved on the path lit by the choices I've made. Confident with the placement of each step, growing in the basics, building up the faces, catching myself before jumping off the deep end, searching for the questions for answers we're born with. Play the role of whisper, staple speaker, secret keeper, become the voice when the minds turn off. For all important gifts for gods to tinker, to keep it flowing in a soundscape of sine waves. Surf the cadences, float the current, enter the great escape. Stay faded in color, becoming the spectrum when whole. Be vacant but present when sharing the lessons alone. Becoming unraveled, your body, your temple, your home. Rebuilding the greater, designing with patterns from soul. They're falling to pieces into a place of worship. We look up at the sky, oblivious to what's around us. Just the common. People making sense of wisdom, angels searching for the halos.
Mosaic so sick, Messiah's thick with wisdom of Moses' trick. Flicker of the upper hands on their lips, slip into a quiet so tripped. The blips crypt slept into denial and decided to flip grips of reality until desired effect takes hold of the maniacal drip. Trippy quickies of Missy's beguiling descent into the pit of the spit. Glitter of shift, luminarious gift given to the ether of the unknown. Listening to condone, bickering to come home. The quickening is tongue owned, gun prone, long tone, and all that's left is one dome. And I know, shroom grown, kept alone to function, feng shui, unscathed in the veil of the conveyed, unglued and subdued until the drum grooves. I'm done, dude. Until the sun moves across the moon, piercing the tunes of the dying moods.
Immensely into touch with those patient stars that flash and twinkle like gems of purest water. Realize that they are suns situated millions of miles away.
It opened like a mouth with nothing to say. A spark was birthed by darkness, then a subtle decay. The new was influenced by the last and all the others. All a child of fallen stars, fallen, still fallen.
In lost forgotten realms I wander stars, sharpening spears upon whetstones made of galaxies and oscillating boundaries. Sight of right nebular alchemy and twilight sepulchre foundries. Propellers of celestine feathers, chimerical mirrors resigned to an era of lies. But I shall inherit what's mine, Aquarian eyes, stellar sight of this endless arise. The pressure of time fetters you to a kettle confined. Underdevelop a mind but die, sever the ties that bind. With an element of reticence and clandestine, spilling the wine in infinite skies. A vivid depiction of bliss, look as the Welkins die.
The pimping in the night sky, so the fly so let's the high tide with a bang. Poof at the right time for the skyline that we can hang. With the godlike glitter with star thoughts and the mind of a sleeping giant. The universal fabric torn by stray words, spoken by an architect lit by the sparking eye. Voyage this, exit this, found in space embracing bliss. Forging planets and created by comets, heavens, gardens struck by wish. Tears of a great mind see the void. From a voice on the asteroid cheating orbit, place the orb on the back of an alien atlas. Look up, be the star, submit.
The clouds of accretion spirals in the house of Elysium. The power unsheets, devours the weak. The hour is now, tower or flee I smile. With my lips bound in a seam I smile. With my lips bound in a seam.
Traveling to get to see, found a body out of reach, incomplete entity. Harvesting everything, slow and see the past flow of a death star into the singularity. Found an emptiness, traveling to get to see, found a body out of reach, incomplete entity. Harvesting everything, slow and see the past flow of a death star into the singularity. Found in emptiness.
The sound of the heavens pound, evanescent loud when its tempest crowned and its zenith foul with its feathers shrouded and at the bounds of the center realms in a photo cell in a forest dwell. The sound of the heavens pound, evanescent loud when its tempest crowned and its zenith foul with its feathers shrouded and at the bounds of the center realms in a photo cell in a forest dwell.
And think of our own little spot in the universe, the solar system. Think of the majestic magnetic sun, the planets all following certain paths guided by a wonderful system of universal law. Observe the precision of the rising and setting of the sun, the lunar periods, the rhythmic ebb and flow of the tidal sea. Let your mind grasp what all this means. Let it sweep right from the grandest aspect of nature down to the atom itself, and what does it see?
I too swore revenge. I swore one day they would pay for having me dethroned.
What is it?
Bombs. Bombs that's powerful enough to revenge all past indignity.
Twisted serpent sipping venom, timeless fingers pluck your flesh.
Eyeless winter skies of cinder sights that whisper sighs of death.
Fortress built with bones of elders, forged in minds where dreams are kept.
The soul is bound in cellars, mouths of men.
Now everybody bleed. Contemplative Dybbuk Box, unlocked with a cross. Upper birth on chapel, fought to govern it off with a song. Get a song like the human candle, conjure up a thought for the lost of the hidden dark. Forbidden parables where all veins are the same creature, pumping blood through all we see. Fall into a brawl, then evolve into a fog. May a nameless entity walking through the walls, for the halls, hear the call of a voice that's melody producing storms to bring the calm. The clouds will pass and bring the dawn. Why is it when the planet cries they only summon death and greed?
Stripped of all light and all vibrant colored spectrum hues are thrall blind but caused by when his heightened sense of death protrudes the sounds that pound aloud within canals of his vestibule. His far side enlarged by the dog strides when an echo moves. Stranded is the phantom, I masked in a gamma burst. The hierophant is shackled, sacrosanct within the hours blurred. The great attractor hatches chasms black, devours her. But art is tight, it crashes as troglodytes in the towers burn.
They built cathedrals out of humans. Materials pulled from the graves, bones from an ancient pain. They built cathedrals out of humans. The words from the mouth of a god echoes through our DNA. They built cathedrals out of humans. Materials pulled from the graves, bones from an ancient pain. They built cathedrals out of humans. The words from the mouth of a god echoes through our DNA. They slaughter billions of followers, infinite polymers, commoners, wanderers, finding answers deep in euphoria. Pull back the veil and shank the wizard, take back what he stole, then gift its pieces, priceless orbs and trinkets, haunted by the shrieks of a phantom conscience. Prepare the body for burial, the kill was visceral, purely cerebral, cranial, sacral, ghost of the embryo. Drink the blood from my enemy's heart, spit it into his lifeless carcass. One must hang for his sins, stapled to the steeple blessed.
Lurk behind the pillars where the stillness ever present. My own bro image lies within and I projected ectogenic, the vector of a lesson whose many tendrils are extended. Where the forest spirit hungers as I plunder your every essence. It plunges through your heart, the shadowed arc of a dark eclipse. The precipice at haunts lies a swarm of severed wrists. The seven angels of the seven seals, the espers and the seraphim. Only formless shores beyond in the silence of an endless mist.
They built cathedrals out of humans. Materials pulled from the graves, bones from an ancient pain. They built cathedrals out of humans. The words from the mouth of a god echoes through our DNA. They built cathedrals out of humans. Materials pulled from the graves, bones from an ancient pain. They built cathedrals out of humans. The words from the mouth of a god echoes through our DNA.
In the forest I discover a flower. The invisible life of the thing goes up in flames that are invisible, like cellophane burning in the sunlight. It burns up. Its drift is to be nothing.
My reflection's a biodome of restless energy, an overpopulated, undulating mass of entropy. The anti-hero of my own anecdotic narrative. My center's hollow, but no, my heart convulses when a cero blips. I don't know, my heart does not unfold when someone measures it, but trust it opens up for some. My impulse is prejudiced. A tacit turning aperture fastened to event horizons. Attempts to canvas blurs our phantasmal stirs, met with a howling silence, ultraviolet radiating, subsuming manifest. My heart is palpable before and after dark, like the arms of Baphomet. Eyes before and after death are clairvoyance, cry a tarot decks. When I dance, and net from my hands are phantomesque. Despite the light my staff projects in the aspect of how my cadaverous, passive, callous, apathetic, I am far from vacuous. So much nations in a larva from where it fashions nests. From its embryonic launch, its character is staunch and it hatch erect. If you think I stumble, leap through mundus, then your hunch is weak. Do not allow a scantus frontispiece to judge what's underneath. I'm a super tangent, traipse along a basement when I hunt. Unique and antithesis, paradox, venom locked in umbral peaks. Paramnesia, swat, deceiver, mock, begotten solipsism, a Hiki haunted carcass, analog lost in panoptic prisons. Logic monger, philosopher, yet with faltered vision. An omniwonger, soul is drawn when I sought perdition. Solitudinous, I found my eyes uprooted from a cryo holster, just to find that I've been striding on the area of a giant's shoulder. Aliased artifact, they've been programmed to know him as such, but he is a tightly packed collective biofragment of golden dust.
In its coveredness, it has a way of uttering itself and replacing itself. Its blossoms claim a floating period, a wrathful presence of a blur of the ground. The appeal to heaven breaks off. Petals begin to form in self-forgiveness. It is a flower on this mountainside. It is dying.
Fucking alchemy. Yeah. Told mill. Under the mud. Yeah. The Isle of Wax man do rigging black glue, slacker in the back with shadow bamboo, zigzag zoom, sit back shrooms, sit back, break up a line on the mag tube, and take a shit, sizzle drip, holy grail vapor hit, butane Myst, hash soil wafer brick, smoke and reclaim and drip, over a strange holy moss, Cantonese tree tied to a dried up rosy cross. I slit a horse's throat and ride it bareback till it throw me off. Attitude bitter, the weed sour. Shoot my ashes out of a fist cannon over a canyon, free power. Raw genius, but a burnt scrub. The wave flip you like surf's up. I don't care that you don't care, you're a type A. Yelling your first fucks or a baby burp, getting your first ups. Artistically, I evolve every first month. You got the streets and surf cut and vert guns, but every verse stunts. Pissing puddles of sherm on your curb front. With my meds, bitch, this nurse sucks. I can get murked up, but what I did, I'll be carried on by my first sons. You're here to stay, but my lane has been bulldozed in the earth mud.
Toad milk. Baptized in poison, acidic voice, spit curses, the noise is spoken, plague voice, that throats and silence muted, hide your ghost, leave my footprint in your cremated remains, and hell the cries and screams until their spirits are trapped in my veins. Suck a razor and kiss me, and I wanna cut your first, your arms will look dope over my doorway, don't worry, it will hurt, the pain will stop, just end your life, the struggle is your choice, pick your portal key, the splittered wooden spoon or the paper knife, add your face to my collection in the mason jar, the faultless spark will keep you lifted in the name of Jaw. Don't mind the rough edges like Harford with a human jaw. Puncture your jugular with your wife's fucking cocaine straw. The burial was beautiful with your head missing. Tied it to a gong and swing it every morning blessing. Replace your eyes with diamonds, you greedy little bitch. Snort your paycheck, buried in debt. Capture the hopeless in my web. Toss some coins to the ferryman off of dead. Offer a promise for redemption if you survive the guillotine's edge. Suck the planet's youth and innocence with just a single breath. Fuck yes, the moment is cyclical and never end. The vision without a visage, the creature off the grid. Here to protect the peace, hoarded laughter in the breeze. 3SE.
The necrosophist welcomes you to a barren hole of feral locust. A dimension's bolt manifests into a mist explosion. Manifolds until your skin is racked with holes. Parasols for a crimson ocean. Your screams are ever hopeless, for your lips are stitched anastomosis. The hourglass is tilted, infinite sand is spilled. Devote my hand to the dragon of the thousand willed. Etch the flesh and bed the sigil of the bearer's end with a splintered edge of a quill. While a wretched witch mends a glyph in a sinner's paneled wrist to never escape the rest of us stills. Nah, you ain't worthy of your head, God. Re-emerge from the viscera of your chest and rip the flesh off. Palpitate your heart with aloe's fabled throb and make your head nod. The sect of the heavens dead bloom neurotoxic memoirs. Face ripper, the eternal with a phantom pain. He shadows and tatters the remnants of his anastigmatic frame. Reanimated through necromantic shackle chains. The ashes of a past supernal dragging his damaged blade.
Antahkarana means inner apparatus. Anta means inside, inner. Karana means the one that works, or apparatus.
Spittled, stood wide open, this isn't me. Lost, your death was plural, just a piece. simple piece. Melt to the puddle, slowly swirling in a constant mess. Disconnected the hourglass, spilled sand in a sporadic tick. The length of the strands wobble to be seen with a simple flick. The outer becomes hollow while the inner spills all over it. Flipping through my faces to choose the mask, it doesn't fit. Sever the logic, express the liquid flowing from a candle's wick. Instead split in the middle, horn slip through the halo. Standing static in discordant frequencies to scramble bar. Clip the wings to play dirt, drive the heart across the universe. Carried by the hands of a higher self, bitches, skin the sick of the spirit burst. Amongst the shards of deities I piece together a simple piece to lay the God to rest. I lost a piece of me, skin the earth down to my core. Harmonic surge of product core, strum on the harps of other repeated as words, crafting song and lore. Face to face with nothing, I found myself in the afterthought. When the mind taught me to bleed, I spilled this isn't me. Focus on the binding perfection, bound by a single thread. Hold your heart while pumping, distill the breath from the barely dead. Crush your pulse, impulsive desires, burn the katana's edge. Focus on the center object in the swirl. Don't greet me with the face that's attached to a skull. Be hollow to merge with my vision, imprisoned within gestalt. Just bridge the gaps between the hemispheres to completely dissolve. Receive the message from the image, posing with a scythe and blunted claws. Time is shifty, a sense of audible blur, clashing in an infinite cube in corners, lodged in space, swallowing air. Your language lacks the numbers, your math can't form a thought. Standing still is writing a planet that's all forwards through the corpse of God. Flip the wings with blanket dirt, drive the heart across the universe. Carried by the hands of a higher self, bitches, skin the sick of the spirit burst. Amongst the shards of deities I piece together a simple piece that laid the God to rest. I lost a piece of me, skinned unearthed down to my core. Harmonic surge of product core, strum on the harps of falling, repeating last words crafting song and lore. Face to face with nothing, I found myself in the afterthought. When the mind taught me to bleed, I spilled this isn't me.
What you are to me, it's undescribable, astral trekking odysseys, voyages on golden vessels on the Nile, a visage not unlike the brilliance of celestial bodies of Orion, the origin and zenith of the constellations' alignment, redefined dying dogmas, a god's goddess, deceit to Rama, an actualized promise, not pantomime thoughts but amplified auras, not clandestine plots but fate-wrought, faith-designed honor. My waves break at the pace of your orbit. You are the force that distorts the veil of the northern auroras, soaring through trails and scores of stardust, warping through symphonies and orchestras, flourishing ardor, harmonious biorhythmic formulas, the flora arranged on alien terrains, rooted and engaged in pavements, the sedation to my distraught nature, the relevance I sought before I pulled myself from this empty chamber, the element opulent in bioluminescence, the mending breath of oxygen phenomena of ever-evolving genesis. He is reticent, a resident in a radiant oculus, the genial force behind my chambered monolith. Her clutch bestows where my umbral feathers grow. The shadows close as I'm swathed beneath her parasol. It's evident, you're the sedative, the fifth element in disguise. My Okami coruscating armor, exoskeleton solidified, fulfillment in the stillness of her sigiled eyes.
Diving into her corner as a weeping tavern flicker within the vibration of synchronized whispers of mundane and intimate secrets. I cup your glow that I blow it out into the mist. Through your halo I could see my wings, wrapped in sheets of gold. Feel the tremors that our shadows bring. Hold your flame to ghosts. To answer the meaningless, hopeless, but feeling my promises. Archer with swollen fins aiming towards emptiness, guiding its arrow to pierce through the nothing until it breaks through and discovers a light at the bottom with broken lips, searching to fill it, cloaked in its presence, and spending a second in toplessness, wandering motionless, scratching the surface again with the tip of my tongue. Mistaken in chemistry, bonded up perfectly, classic cacophony, sympathy, symphony, honoring beauty and melody, stressing the words of an intricate song. Discovered your heart after peeling my flesh, found me tangled in unwoven memories, left by the damage, undone by the joys of another. You scratched my name from stone. I lied, it's been seen. I relied too much on the corners in the dark. Was found. helped me find the strength to stand on my own, then gracefully taught me how to fall. Faded into the scene when I walked alone, then I found myself again with your breath in mine.
The scent of divine, remnant shines effortless. The quintessence of blessedness, measureless heaven sent temple of sentience projects her sentiment into mine.
Lost amongst the strays, but I found a home far away from the path that I laid on my own.
The ender's abode, if ever it folds, I'll find myself close in the breath of your soul. I'll always be close. Look to the rose from the pebbles it grows. Never let go, never let go. Although we fall into a spiral unending, a gyre into penumbra's embrace. Into the father-mother mind we will be entwined. The fate of a ghost haunting a moonflower.
In you.
To never let go. We are unborn in the tomb of Mithra, a consort of the womb of ether. A blunt sword presumed of fruitless features, but a sword's tuned by the use of its wielder. Batosai, the sweeping wind of cold skies. Cocytus seething in a snow globe, azure glow manifolds in my soul's eye. A fractured distortion, a lucent mass zooms like a warship orbs past amorphous. It ports in unexplored orbits. In truth, they hardly knew of their origins or where its course is. An arc blink, the launch to a dark brink. Far off where non-things and shadow larks march and stars sink. There is no demise if you never did exist. The suicide of time untied to a vacuous umbral rift. A vast unravel entwines back to a divine strand, and like Cheshire cats a smile cracks as the blackness stifles and smothers it. The invocation of covenants, ablaze in a wondrous display. The abundance of flame, a violet arrays of sustenance. A seven-sided plane, swirling inside a blur, birthing a silent haze. A single murmur of words lies in its wake. This world siphon and drain of sentient life, but it is I who remain. The virus contained in the crucible of elements. Exogenesis from the seventh zenith ascended into a multitude of essences. God reflected in the flesh's sin, it's evident. The imagination so dampened, the soul's fractured, captured. Fascination is thrown into a hole blackened to never know the everglow wove into a poem's canvas. So I take it upon my hands to reattach it, any cleave synapses, and breathe back the reimagined dreams that we lack to see it weave to tangible patterns. A miasma haphazard returns to the planet, reunion with the life stream, suffusing in a fusion of light beams. Exhume a single plume, lucid fuse with a right wing. A silver cyclone spins of Genova's mitosis, but the path that I roam lifts my growth swift. So I'm reborn before the meteors glow. The vanishing throne and banishes foe with 1,000 glancing glows.
Inside my hands, a swirl of psychic strands approach. Iridescent fires dance to float in the form of hierophantic glows. As I advance inside a trance, the horizon slants and droves, and the disorienting no tree of life expands from each writhing branch that grows. The world behind the blinding lamp, a storm of timeless sands a roll to a lurid night that's far more epic than pluralized with antic foes. Absorbed in vibes you can't suppose, the undulations of a single thread, each fiber of which is so dedicated to never decay that it eats its dead. I interpret the hidden purpose, the inner workings, no secret said. One must be committed to search where the infinite lurks for the Easter eggs. Blink of an arc, so much can combust from just a miniature spark. The most beautiful of starfires is a fitting remark. Cartomantic butterflies with dragons at their side. Immortal shadows soar the ground as she scries, as if they're in the sky. I disappear inside the elaborate materia that they symbolize. Content to roam the heart of the mirror to which she's magnetized. The only indigenous inhabitant of her endlessness. My very existence in this earthly realm is meant for this. She sees trails, it's just me for light years. The concept of destiny is far more than an idea. We are immortal, a blend of star and soil. The darkest mural bending intrinsicity. Our hearts are coral, lost in floral winds. Our own infinity, our Ouroboros, the haunting oral symphony that sings beneath a blossom portal. This is a testament to how a single thought can plural. All of this is simply from you just mentioning a thoughtful oral. Time of the goals, an alchemist philosophy on arranging stones. For when in her proximity, the energy defies the way it flows. The flicker that integrates them close distance cannot betray their souls. They walked into their ancient abode, the gate is closed.
Vacant torso, stranded glow grown, trickling slowly from a chiseled skull. Scrolls unrolled across the temple throne. Behold the timeless crone. She speaks in a broken language, slitting tongues of the western savage. I just package it sold in packs of bullets, stacks of weeping tablets. tilting caskets empty, the remains are full of life. Creatures trapped by eldest metabolism, activated Cenobite stuff was found in an open grave that's nailed to propose to a poltergeist folded under cypress lays for ghosts of likes and plagues of paradise. The pale and dainty princess dangled lifeless in the queen's stomach. The king that threw the punch request for prince was raised to the tomb of Moloch. Rebuild the kingdom with heaven's gates, foundation built on flowing lava, bathing in waterfalls of molten rock, pitiful but tapped by karma. Whispers echo from a sarcophagus, transmitting every command. The perfect circle office squared off into a triangle around the plan. Blessed Trinity triplets, ginger guardian protecting a flaming codec, fortune told by some are hooded beggars, chimey shards of copper tokens. Crumble batch of presidents, worship amongst the penniless. Falsely imprinted images feed the habits of credulous fingerprints. Total control of focus, life without an orange potus, man. I believe in what I see to trick the lasers and the retina scan. Holy, holy, I can see through your God. The followers that fill your coffers feed your demon at heart. The snake oil you peddle engulf the world in flames at large, programming a fetus by selling parents poison for the needs and wants. Daily life isn't truly yours. Time is spent to build your credit. Wandering with a troubadour, fingerless and stapled muted. Project your mentals, your world is shaped by blurry thoughts. Play your summons and boosters when life deals from a deck of loaded cards. Every person deserves to be a statue, not a cloud-saved image like the ad-filled vacuum. Each comment placed with purpose, intentions, disguise, and thank yous. Feel like you can't be seen or heard because you haven't been subscribed to. The architect designed this beautiful and simple simulation to interact with itself and experience a passion for its magnum opus. I guess it's all the same though. Dressed in Kundalini skin just to trigger the vein.
We cover homeless and girls in the field like this on me green tea. Nasco cuts, pokeweed berries for lipstick. Sleepwalk to academy, spoof and become a murder witness. Stella Artois stowaway in my narrow bliss. Leaves it to me, boys. I'll ventilate that mook. Tragic car crash when I break a strawberry tart and high. Kid Bass, Starfish, Hitler, euthanizing Pavlov's lichens with Chekhov's eye and the twin mummy sisters. Lighthouse, Brackle, cap, opacity mechanism. Kid peak, dark sky conditions, peak at sex skins. Toss creeks, marines, animated bars of violence. White tiger, crime syndicate, try again. All the Hong Kong keeps on having dreams of long hauls. So on, snifty spells like main shields and bottomless trash cans. Overflow with yellow lotus bodyguards for having lousy linguist source. Stop, flash, spark swings to sawdust. Dark winged duck, bouncing with a Neapolitan milk stout from Saugatuck. Outnumber heroes by puppeteering 3 passerbys. A nun, a terrier, and a pizza guy. My lab coat drag from here to Antarctica. Red tanker, goggle, Mogadishu, seafood, nightcrawler. That's mahi mahi, fish play the piano. I make my escape. My taste buds taste like Italian fire escapes.